Hello and welcome to the series where I take ruined model trains, 30 years of neglect, rust and damp, and try to put them back on track. If I succeed, then they'll work again. Oh, thank goodness. So it's going to work by the looks of things. But if I fail, they'll be left to the mercy of the evil scrap man. The Time-O-Matic machine will give me a limited time to repair each engine. If a loco still doesn't work when the time runs out, the scrapman will come knocking. Welcome to Salvage or Scrap. Without any further ado, it's time to introduce those long-suffering locos who sadly have run out of steam. As you can see, there still are plenty of locos left to go at, and there's quite a lot of variety in there as well. But today's patient is a 1973 Lima Belgian Railways Class 15 electric locomotive. Alright, time to find out what I'm dealing with. I know for a fact that this locomotive has been abandoned in an attic ever since its owner died back in the late 80s, early 90s, and that means I've got 30 years of neglect, rust and damp to contend with, and it really is not looking good. One of the pantographs is missing entirely. The remaining pantograph, the couplings and the body screw that holds the body on, those are all badly rusted. And just look at this, there's a great soldering iron burn right across the side of the body. Other than that though, it kind of looks cosmetically fine, doesn't it? But does it work? Initiate the power test. Nope. Unsurprisingly, it does not work. And I say unsurprisingly because of course there is this hard black scum on lots of the wheels, which of course will probably be preventing power from getting to the locomotive. So let's find out how long I have to fix this. Time-O-Matic, if you will. 39 minutes. Okay, that is not too bad. And any special requests from the Time-O-Matic today? No rust visible. Right, so I've got to get rid of all that rust. So this one is going to be a real challenge because I can't make a proper plan without seeing what's inside this locomotive. I don't know what I'm going to find when I remove the body, so I've just got to hope for the best on that. As for removing the rust, that's going to be a bit of a challenge, particularly on that pantograph because it's quite a fine piece. But I do have a sneaky plan for that. The Time-O-Matic said that I've just got to remove the rust, so if I leave the pantograph until last, if I don't have time to clean it up, I could just remove it from the model and then technically, the rust will be gone. So I'm going to go prepare and then I will give this a try. I have got just one rule for this, and that is that I'm not allowed to shop online for any replacement parts. I can use what I've already got in my stores, and I can also 3D print brand new parts, but if I do, they must be printed within the time limit. Okay, the Belgian Railways Lima electric locomotive, 39 minutes. Time-O-Matic, please start the timer now. Let's get this train back on the track. Come on then. Oh, this is going to be such a challenge. Finally, I am allowed to dismantle this locomotive and see what is on the inside. The first job is going to be to use this toothbrush to get all of the dirt from this loco, which is not going to be an easy thing to do. There is the innards of it. I don't know what this is quite. There is quite a lot of dirt and mess inside. I'm hoping I'll be able to do something about all of that. There is this sticky plasticine on the inside holding the pantograph in place. I'm not keen on that. That could explain why the other one's gone missing. I am having some trouble getting the pantograph off. I'm trying absolutely everything I can think of, trying to pry it off with the screwdriver, trying to twist it off. Doesn't seem to be coming off. Oh, it's a flat bladed screw. Okay, it's coming, okay. and thank goodness the rusty pantograph has come off. When I do go to clean the body, I want as fewer details fitted as possible because I might catch them and lose them, so I do have to strip the buffers. Toothbrush, I'll be back very, very shortly. This is going to have to be quick. This is by far the most satisfying part of a project like this. A toothbrush with a little bit of hand soap on it, and you just give that Loco a scrub, and the dirtier the Loco, the better. You can see already that the foam produced by the soap is already turning brown, which just shows how much dirt is being fetched off this body. Cold water, fast running cold water, that's what I need. I haven't really got time to clean this as thoroughly as I would like, so I'm having to leave it at that. I'm just dabbing this dry so as not to upset the finish of the body. Hopefully nobody will realise that I'm using this towel for this purpose. Okay, so that is the worst of the moisture dried. I'm now going to lay the body right here in front of my fan. I'm putting this in front of my heater on just a low heat to help the body to dry because I don't have time to let this dry naturally. Timer-matic, how am I doing? How long has that taken me? I've got 34 minutes left, it seems. Okay, what the devil is this? Time then to disassemble the chassis. Now that the body is drying, I really need to focus on the mechanism, troubleshoot it, service it and try to get it running. The bogie chassis even is filthy, and I don't have time to have another trip downstairs to clean it, so I'm going to just clean it with my cotton buds. Abandoned in an attic for 30 years, brought back to life in 30 minutes. Alright, let's pull out the mechanism. Alright, it's your classic basic Lima mechanism. Gear 1 is clean, Gear 2 is clean, Gear 3 is clean. Look at this, there's cack all over the chassis. I've got to clean this off. Oh god, it's getting hot in here. That heater is so efficient. So I'm now starting the disassembly of the motor. Basically, if you can see it, you need to clean it. Right, there are the brushes. I'm pleased to see that they are intact. Let's clean those up a little. Look how filthy this is already, this cotton bud. I've only been using it for 10 seconds. I'm now cleaning the front of the motor and the brush mounts. This is where all of the electrical business goes on, so it's really important that this is all clean and conductive. Oh, it's caked, it's absolutely caked. It was bad looking on the outside, but my god, inside it was 10 times worse. I don't see any rust on the inside though, so obviously the damp didn't get too deep. Right, how's my body doing? Oh, the body looks dry, and my god, it looks better than it did before. It's not too hot here, is it? I almost forgot to clean the axles and the pickups and such, but of course this is all essential for good running, and they are very dirty as you can see, so I'm glad I haven't forgotten that. Right, let that dry, and I'll put the armature in shot. Alright. Well, this is looking dirty, but hopefully it will work. I don't have time, I don't think, to set up my multimeter and test the resistances of the coils, so I really will just have to blindly reassemble this and hope to goodness that it still works after I do that. Oh, look how filthy it is. I'm getting the worst of the dirt off with a cotton bud, although as you can see that isn't enough to get the armature perfectly clean, so I'm finishing it off with the good old trusty wire wheel, which has come in very handy today. Get rid of it. Okay, now amazingly the washer flew off while I was doing it, but I saw where it landed, so I have not lost the washer. I do have spares of those, but man, that was stupid. I need to take my time a little bit more, but I haven't got time. Time to crack on then with the reassembly. Time is running out, so I've got to do this quite quickly. This is weird. There's something stopping this from going down into place. Well, I don't have time to figure out what it is. I'm going to have to put it back together and hope for the best. I think it has actually gone back together now with the help of the screws. Brushes back in. How are the brush springs looking? The brush springs look pretty good and clean actually, but I will clean them up myself just a little. Alright, springs can go back. Good. That's in. Right, we're coming up to the moment of truth. I'm going to test the motor when these are in. I'm going to lubricate and test the motor, and if it doesn't work, I will be stuck. I mean, if it doesn't work, the only thing I'll have is other Lima Locos in my collection. Am I willing to butcher them just to pass this challenge? I don't know. This is the first key moment of this project. I'm about to test the motor. It's alive, and it sounds really good and healthy. And as you can see, it is actually working perfectly. That's fantastic news. If the motor was bad, I'd be really stuck. Right, a little bit of lubrication on the axles then. And a little bit of Vaseline on the pickups, because Vaseline is slightly conductive. I'm quickly lubricating the gears and reassembling the gear train so that I can do the first proper test with the wheels and everything turning. Okay, and the spring, these are weird springs. Like that, hey, okay. Very good, is this gonna work? Let's find out. Yes, it's alive, thank goodness. And as you can see, the mechanism is working properly. It's working perfectly, in fact, which is a really, really good sign. I'm now feeling confident that this project might actually turn out a success. I absolutely love this wire wheel for cleaning wheels. It's an amazing method. It's a miracle treatment. It doesn't matter how filthy wheels are. A few seconds with this wire wheel and they shine as though you've polished them for hours. When you haven't got very long to do something, that is a real bonus. Yes, clean wheels. Alright, the rubber traction tyres are still in good shape, which is good. How am I doing, Time-O-Matic? 20 minutes left. I've had almost half the time. Okay, well this seems like it's going pretty well. Let's put this back in position. Put the chassis base back on. The coupling on this side is not rusty, so I'm not going to have to do anything to that. So now that the motor bogie has been reassembled, I'm definitely on the home straight. However, it's important not to rest on my laurels because of course the other bogie, while it doesn't have a mechanism in it, it is relied on for some electrical pickup. So I have got to disassemble it and I have got to clean everything up to make sure that it's conducting properly. Now, amazingly, it looks like there are screws holding this bogie together, or a screw, and that means I won't have to faff around with clips, hopefully, trying to get it apart. Hopefully. Alright, great. Yes, this should come apart really easily. Right, so we've got all the different parts of the bogie here. Of course, this is important, you've got to do this, otherwise the Loco won't get power to it. And this part, as simple as it looks, is quite a major pitfall. If I put one of these axles back in the wrong way around, the Loco will short out and it won't work and I'll have to disassemble it again. And I do not have time for that, so I am having to be very, very careful to keep my eye on those wheels so as not to turn them around by accident. Okay, I've got about 6 minutes until I need to be moving on to the body, so yep, no pressure. I do have to remove the rust from this model, of course, so I am now removing the coupling so that I can clean that later on. Right, let's get this all back together then, shall I? This is a right devil to reassemble, actually. I'm trying to hold all the parts in place with my hands while also using my hands to clip the bogie back together and get that final screw back in place. Not an easy thing to do. Alright, this is something that you need more than one hand to do, which is not great. Plus this is dirty, so I'll just clean this. Got to hold these wheels in place. And get the screw back in. Then hopefully it's just a case of cleaning the wheels. Okay, so they're in and they are hopefully going to be making good contact. I've only got 2 minutes really before I need to start thinking about the body and reassembly there, so I don't have time to start checking continuity now. That's not a good thing not to have time for. Alright, now hopefully that is going to be working correctly. These were the wheels that had that thick black scum all over them, so this part is particularly satisfying. All of that black scum is just disappearing right in front of my very eyes. There is kind of an art to this. You've got to allow the wheels to spin slowly If they go too fast, the cleaning process doesn't work too well, so I'm just putting a bit of resistance on there with my finger and allowing the wheels to spin just a little. Okay, that's gonna have to do it, and look how nice and shiny those wheels are. Oh, that is so satisfying, I love it. And now I'm gonna have to check that the thing works, and then put the chassis to one side for the final 10 minutes. We're into the last 10 minutes, good Lord. Have I put the wheels back in the wrong way or not? Let's find out. I hope not. No. Okay, it's working, and it's working really nicely. Oh, this is great. Right, the body and other parts. It's just the pantograph and this coupling that are rusty, which need looking at. So let's do the coupling first. Here we go. So now I'm going to de-rust some of those awful parts that kind of betray how neglected this loco is. So I'm starting off with the coupling. Again, the wire wheel is just a great tool for removing rust. Then the body screw, yes, it seems a silly one, but it is very prominent up there on the top of the model, so I do think it looks better if it isn't covered in rust. And finally, the pantograph. Now, yes, I'm not doing the greatest job on this. I don't have time to really get every little bit of rust off it, but most of the surface rust, as you can see, is now disappearing. Right, there is literally just 6 minutes left on this build, so I'm going to have to start reassembling. That's as much time as I've got. So, the screw. Oh, no, I need to put the pantograph back on first. The pantograph is not going to be functional. I'm pretty much resigned to that fact now. But it is at least free of rust, which is something. It will do, the pantograph is on. Okay, now the body can go back on. Okay, screw that in. I've got plasticine all over the screwdriver, great. The missing coupling, try and get that on if I can. There we are, coupling free of rust. Okay, buffers. Buffers 2, buffer 3, and buffer 4. Now, I've got, how long have I got, Mr. Timer-matic? I've got literally 3 minutes. So, how about I just pop the loco in its cradle and just give it one last test, because if it doesn't work, the scrapman will want it. It's working. Okay, Timer-matic, stop the clock. There we are, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. And this locomotive, as requested by the Timer-matic, is now in working order, and there is no more visible rust. Look at that. Cosmetically, it is much better. It's nice and clean, but will it work? Let's take this back to the workshop to find out. The patient is back in the workshop, ready for the final inspection. Don't forget, this is what it looked like to start with. It was a complete mass of rust. So we're talking couplings, the body screw, the pantographs, totally covered in rust. The body was also absolutely filthy as well. And here is what it looks like now. And remember, one of my challenges was to make it so that no rust was visible. So as you can see now, the coupling is nice and clean, so is the body screw. The pantograph, maybe if you look carefully, you will see a little bit of rust, but I've done my best to get rid of most of it. So maybe if I'm being generous, I can say that challenge was passed. And as you can also see, the loco is now free from all of that filth that it was caked in before. So that's great and all, but does it actually work now? Initiate that final power test. Well, as you can hear, it's now full of energy. It's running so happily. Really pleased with that. It kicks in at a nice low speed. It sounds fantastic. It's nice and smooth. It's working exactly as it would have done when it was brand new. And for that, I'm really proud. That is fantastic news then. This loco has been successfully salvaged, and it is at last safe from the evil scrapman. So let's take a look at the leaderboard of repair times. As you can see, this salvage came in at 2nd place, so that's not too bad, although it will be interesting to see where the other projects stack up on there. So the only thing left to do now is to send this lovely loco back out into the world, back onto the railway. And there it goes. And if you are interested in owning today's Loco, bids are now open for it on eBay, so I will include a link down in the description for you. For now though, job done. I will see you very, very soon here again on Salvage or Scrap.